Hello and welcome to Teacher Talk, the podcast for teachers who are lifers but still want to have a life. This is Jared, and as always, I'm joined by my partner, Johanna. Hey, Johanna.
Hi, Jared.
What are we going to talk about today?
Getting ready for school.
Getting ready for school?
Oh, it sounds terrible. Just say that.
Just the idea?
Oh, yes. And I love my job.
It's August now as we record this.
Yeah. It's time to start mentally making some changes.
Hey, what changes do I need to make?
It's time to put yourself on a schedule.
Schedule?
Yeah.
Like get up early or what?
Yes. It's time to put yourself back onto a routine. I mean, I look around the neighborhood and I know kids who routinely used to go to bed consistently at a certain time, and now it's like, oh, whatever. And that's the beauty of summer. But cold turkey, like school's starting, so boom, now we're going to go to bed on time, and now we're going to wake up early.
Kids or you?
Everyone. It's just no good. It's no bueno.
This isn't a students talk podcast, though.
Well, I know, but if you're a teacher who has kids, if you're putting yourself on a schedule, it's time to put your kids back on a schedule, too.
Okay.
I
think they'll figure it out. Tell me about what you need to do, though, for your schedule.
I think the hardest part for me is learning to go to sleep on time. It takes me a long time to stop staying up until however late I want. And then once I go to bed, to actually fall asleep. It's hard. And then it's hard to wake up early. I mean, that actually is for me at least personally, waking up is fine. It's then I'm going to be active and do things and, like brush my hair.
You mean in the morning?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Hopefully I'm not the only teacher who wakes up and then doesn't fully, do the normal prep work they're used to in the morning.
Sure. I think a lot of people have trouble getting to sleep when they want, especially if they're out of their routine. As an expert sleep-going tour...
Don't have any advice.
On our sleep-going to podcast, do you have anything to say except for just...
No,
try to get back into the habit? Okay.
Yeah, it's time to start putting yourself back into a schedule where you're going to get up, get dressed, and go to work. Only you're not gonna go.
What does
to
it?
Work.
What do you mean by it? It's time. When is the time where it's time?
Like a couple of weeks before.
Couple two?
Yeah, sure.
2 weeks before school.
I think so.
What else you do?
Then you decide what you really want to make sure you still get done this summer. Because in June, you were so excited. You had plans. You were going to clean out this closet. You were going to go on this adventure. You were going to make sure to organize yourself like an activity or a project that wasn't connected to school. You had all these plans, and then summer you set in, and now you haven't done a lot of those plans. And so it's time to treat your summer plans like a job.
Like all of them, or you gonna pick one, or what?
No, like all of them. Like you're going back to work. Well, you will get a million things done in one day for someone else. Decide that your job is you. And what is it you want to get done? How are you going to get it done? I mean, get yourself in a schedule, up and dressed, going for the day, and then make a to-do list just like you would at work, only this time it's for you.
No more lazing about.
No more lazing about.
Lazing.
Lazing. Is that what
Lazing.
Our son said?
Yeah. The boy knows it better, didn't you?
What did he say again?
He wanted us to get up and do something and
yes.
Get him milk or something probably. And he accused us of just lazing about.
That's right.
Okay. No more lazing about. Get your stuff done. Your goal's done.
Yes. A lot of times teachers will get active and they're still, and I feel it. It is like a siren's call to me in my classroom. Like she is singing the sweet song, and I'll think, I'll just go in for a couple of hours. Because when it's time to go back to work, I want to physically go back to my classroom. And a lot of classrooms start opening up in August where you can get in, and you have to decide that you still come first.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're going to come first. You are the job. What is it you want done? Now's the time. Even if what you want done is to take your kids somewhere or to go on an adventure or whatever it is, you want to take a day trip by yourself, or you're going to organize something with a friend. Now's the time. Get it done. No regrets.
And do you find then that working on your own list like it's your job helps you transition to the school year better then?
Yes, and it helps to make sure that I don't lose sight of me. I mean, because the trap that I at least have fallen into, and I'm noticing an uptick on YouTube and Pinterest that people are going back into their classrooms and they're putting the emphasis on these children that they don't yet know. But they aren't actually going to help that child they don't yet know because their poster is perfectly hung. They're not going to help that child because they made the best bulletin board, right? I mean, depending on your classroom, you could do all this work and then 2 weeks into the school year, you might have a particular child that ends up tearing it all down because you're still organizing and situating management strategy. And so it's like the baby's room. Don't keep over the most beautiful baby's room doesn't mean you love your child more. You need to prepare for the fact that you are going to take a lot of energy and a lot of love and put it into these children. And so you need to still be putting you first, not the beautification of your classroom.
Not the classroom.
Not the classroom. Even though I want to do it too, I want to do it so bad. You have no idea. And it brings me so much joy. I want to do it. You just can't. You can't. You shouldn't put you first.
Why? If it brings you joy, like why?
Because the outside of our house still needs painted. I mean, that's my to-do list item.
Does that bring you joy?
No.
Then why wouldn't the classroom thing be a better thing?
Because it doesn't bring me resentment. Once the school year starts, I don't have time to take a day off and paint the outside of our house. Well, multiple days off to paint the outside of our house. I don't want to spend my weekend painting the outside of my house. I don't want to, in September, be like, seriously, why didn't I get this done during the summer? And that, I think, builds just this negative vibe. And so you will have a scheduled time where you are going to put those kids first. It does not need to be right now. It needs to be like a couple of days before the kids show up.
Yeah, okay.
Like you're loving a child that you don't yet know you have to take care of. You probably don't. You might not even have access to the IEPs. You might not even have access to class lists. Like, let the classroom go.
So I guess what you're saying is, in order to maximize your effectiveness during the school year, you need to clear your slate before it starts, and that's actually the best way to be good for the students during the school year.
Yes, that's a better way to say it. My way sounds very selfish.
What you're saying is, if you have regrets for things that you didn't do, or that you're still having, like chores that you're still having to do that you could have got done during the summer, that you didn't because you went back into your classroom too early, that's way more harmful to being effective during the school year than the 2 extra weeks you spent making your classroom absolutely perfect for one day and then not after that.
Yes.
is helpful to being effective in the classroom?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. That is what I believe.
Do I need to know anything else about that? Is that the whole story?
I think that's kind of that whole story.
All right. So I will recap.
Sure.
As August rolls around.
Yep.
You get about 2 weeks out from when school starts again.
Yep.
You're going to be tempted to go back to your classroom.
Yes.
And make everything perfect and ready.
Yes.
And you compared it to like nesting.
Oh, yes, it is like nesting. Yes.
Because you get this big thing coming up that you can't control a lot of the elements of. You can at least control the classroom.
Yeah, and you want them to feel so welcome and invited and special the moment they walk in. Yeah.
But this is an illusion. It's actually not a good use of your time.
It's a horrible use of your time.
Because what you really need to do is use the remainder of the summer for you.
Yes.
To clear your slate.
Yes.
So that you don't carry regrets or resentments into the school year, which won't manifest themselves, in the last week of August or the first week of September, while the classroom still looks perfectly pretty, but will eventually pop up when you're having to take a weekend in October to paint or whatever chore you have.
Yeah, when you start feeling those things like, why didn't I go on this little adventure? Or why didn't I get together with these friends? Or why didn't I get X, Y, and Z done at my house? And then the resentments start.
And maybe you're not a resentful person. Maybe you just, you put your head down and power through it. It's like, oh, well, this sucks, but I still love teaching so much. But even then, in the long run, that's going to catch up to you, and you're going to be a 5-year teacher instead of a 35-year teacher.
Yes. Jared, you're on fire. A 5-year teacher instead of a 35-year teacher. That's exactly it. You're right.
But they're all your ideas.
You make them sound so much better.
Well, I listen to you. So, figure out. Use the last 2 weeks of summer like getting your stuff done is your job.
Correct.
You got 2 weeks left. You can know what you accomplished, but you get up every day and get it accomplished so that you can go into the school year just a couple days before the school year starts, like we've talked about at the very beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the second phase of this podcast, but you keep recapping.
But then you'll be good to go.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do part 2.
Of what?
Well, it's called Getting Ready for the School Year.
We can't do part 2.
Why not?
In this, I already recapped.
I know, but then we got to talk about how do you do your classroom.
Is that the same episode?
I think we should put it in the same episode.
Why?
Well, because this one's only about 10 minutes long.
That's okay. Sometimes you have short podcasts. They used to be 10 minutes when we started.
No, they used to be like 17 to 20. Okay, so getting ready for the school year.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Which is part 1 is don't.
Don't. But eventually you do have to go in and do your classroom.
But part 1 is don't, which really it is do. But don't go in the classroom.
Don't go in the classroom.
Get you done.
Get you done.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Is go in the classroom.
Yeah, like you're going to have to schedule a day to go into the classroom. And depending on how your school works, whether you've moved classrooms or whether you have, like I have to move out of my classroom every year and then move back in, you need to not putz on this. This needs to be a 1-day activity.
Yes.
1 day.
Of what?
Putting your classroom back together.
Wait, no, but what does that mean?
That means...
Is this the end of part 2 of the podcast?
No.
1 day, put
One
classroom
day.
back together.
1 day.
Check.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you, Johanna.
So I schedule a day. I tend to do it the day before teacher meetings. This day is not about looking at school lists. This is literally, I'm going to do my classroom. It's what most teachers spend like a week on. You're going to do it in exactly 1 day or less. Bonus points if you can do it in less. This is like more of an elementary teacher problem than a secondary teacher problem. But
why is that?
Well, secondary teachers tend to travel. Secondary teachers tend to not feel a need to beautify their spaces. It's just different.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you are someone who does need to beautify your space, because it does matter, it does make students feel more welcome to have a pretty space.
Or a plant.
Or a plant. Better yet, a plant. Oh my gosh, I've already started picking out the plants.
And like branches and stuff.
Yes. You're
Like
referencing
sticks.
a past. Yes.
Then they'll be super learners.
They'll be super
Because
learners.
their stuff isn't on like plastic sticks. It's on like
No.
branch sticks.
It's on our branch.
Hey, you're beautifying.
You're beautifying.
No, you're beautifying. You're telling me about it.
Oh, yeah. So you go in, and however much time you've decided to dedicate, and hopefully, better yet, this is even a day where you're getting paid. Like if your district happens to have a couple of teacher work days before you start, feel very lucky. If not, it's...
Either way, you're going to go in for a day and...
Or less. You're going to make a to-do list. You're going to break up your to-do list into how many minutes you have. And so you are not going to ask 4 different people where you should hang X, Y, and Z poster or how you should do blah, blah, blah bulletin board. You're just going to get in there and get it done because it does not matter. It does not matter.
What doesn't matter?
Like, well, should I put my alphabet right above the thing or should I put it over here? I don't know. I'm just kind of... Where do you think you'll help kids the best? I know what I'll do. I'll go down to my friend because they're working on their classroom and I'll have them come and look at it and we'll like ponder it together.
Okay, so...
I'm not kidding. This is how it goes down. Because
Right.
they have all the time in the world. So why not spend all the time on the world making it perfect? This is what happens. And it's like it gets inside your soul and you really want to do it.
Because you're just playing with like what you imagine will matter.
Yes, it's just like the baby's room. As soon
And
as that baby shows up, you do not care which color green you put on the walls. You do not care.
Right.
Like, you do not care what bed setting you picked out for the crib, which you're now not using because you can't have anything in the crib. You do not care.
Sure. Yeah. It's all potential at that point. And so you expand the time imagining ways that it could be.
Yes, what color should this be? No.
And then making up imaginary reasons why one is better than the other.
Or things that you think you're going to need, but you don't actually really need.
Even though once the actual thing starts, it would never in a million years would you decide, oh no, it should be over here instead of there.
Well, it's a little bit of a... Can I say that? Ooh, there's children listening. It's a little bit of a competition.
It's a little bit of a contest to see how far you can pee.
There's a lot... Teachers do a lot for the classroom because other teachers are doing it and because of the initial comment they'll get from the parents or the other teachers about their classroom.
It's like lawn care.
Oh, yes, I suppose. The dudes that do not, like, that want their lawn perfect and then their driveway perfect.
Yeah, because then people might say something about how they have the best lawn.
Got it. Yes, teachers get in this trap.
Even though it's only just marginally better than the next best lawn.
And
And
probably...
barely better than any lawn.
Right.
But it's doing all that extra work to be the prettiest, like, is a trap.
It's a trap. It is a trap. So if you have to do it, you set aside your one day, you do it, and that's all you get.
Okay. Because it doesn't really matter
Yeah. And
how perfectly the things go on the wall.
Nope, doesn't matter.
You'll just be on the wall soon enough.
The desk 6 inches to the left or 6 inches to the right is going to get moved anyway. It doesn't matter.
Which is part of why you have your to-do lists. Because it doesn't say put them on the wall with 1 point.
Oh my
7
gosh,
inches
people
of
tape their
spacing.
phones up so that it makes a level line.
It just is, get them on the wall.
No, just get it on. Just get her done and go. I think that's trademarked by someone else.
There's a comedian.
Oh,
He says get her done.
yeah.
Yeah, but get it done I don't think is anyone's trademark.
Oh, okay.
You're okay. All right, what else?
That's it.
That's it.
It's time to get ready for school, and this is how you do it.
All right, part 2 recap. Larry the kid. No. The day before teacher meetings,
Yes.
or just a day. Schedule a day.
Yeah, the further back you can do it, but some people I could see how they're like, I can't focus on me until my classroom's done. It's just I worry then that if you have 5 days to do your classroom, you'll spend 5 days on your classroom.
But definitely don't do that. Not more than a day. You're gonna make your to-do list, and then you're not going to dream or imagine how perfect it could be, because you're never gonna care once you actually start using it.
Yes.
And you're correctly not going to care, because
Right.
it's just going to be obvious how little it matters, whether it's something's on this wall or on that wall.
Correct.
So why would you spend any of your time beforehand debating with yourself
if it's on
why
the
it's
wrong
on this wall instead of that wall?
If it's on the wrong wall, then you'll just move it once you start working with kids.
Except you won't, because there is no wrong wall.
Right.
So just get it done according to your timeline, and don't waste a bunch of time making your lawn the prettiest, because it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Jared.
Johanna, do you get questions from listeners ever?
Yes, we do.
How do those listeners send you questions?
They send us an email.
Where does that email go?
teachertalk4teachers@gmail.com.
But wait, what kind of 4? How do I do 4?
All of the 4s. They can do a number 4. They can write the word FOR, or they can do FOUR, even though that one doesn't quite make sense.
Well, perfect. teachertalk4teachers@gmail.com.
Yes.
Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Jared.
Teacher Talk, the podcast for teachers who are lifers but still want to have a life.